I am talking about, this is a series that I'm doing regarding what affects payments. I didn't tell you before, but I figured out that I might as well talk about it because you want to hear about cash flow. So this one is one of my favorite no-nos. And it took me a lot of pain to realize that change orders are one of the reasons why cash flow in our companies is affected so much. Change orders affect underbilling. Change orders affect your ability to get paid. Change orders, and I must clarify, that are not approved, that they are not backed up by an approval from the client. Change orders is more, look, saying yes to change orders that doesn't have an approval, basically the way the client indicates it should be, it's more telling the client, not that you're a nice person. That's not really what you're telling them. It looks like you are. You got yourself convinced that potentially you'll get more work. Because many times when clients ask you to do an incredible amount of work outside of the contract, that is not in your budget, it's not in your proposal, it's not in your schedule of value, they promise you stuff and you believe it. And I'm not saying that they are lying and intentionally making you, it's, let me get them to do this, and I'm gonna, maybe they have the intention, but what it's really saying is that you don't have the intestinal fortitude to say no. And I want to pause here because this took me a long time to understand. Because we rather sometimes be nice. More than anything, what I learned is that when we have a personality, when we are at the core givers, not takers, and there's many people in construction that they're just driven to serve. That's really what they are at the core. They serve from the heart. They want to do a good job. People in construction, I find in the field that they're good people. They want to serve. They want to serve the client at the highest level. And sometimes they just don't know how to say no. But not only to them, to the client, no to a change order that is not approved. It's not a training in their nervous system. They learn from very little, from living with the parents, to say yes. Because saying yes gives you the love that you always want. At the end of the day, what do we want? We all humans, we all want to love and to be loved. And what don't we do for love? Unfortunately, our client in the business relationship, this is not where we find pure love. Okay? So if we learned as a child that saying yes, 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 and doing yes, yes, yes is how we gain love, we probably will maintain that behavior because we are creatures of behaviors. And if we believe the client will pay us because they're saying that, and that they are going to be honest and they're going to follow through with their word because this is how we are, I am truthful to my word. My word is my bond. And while yes, it's okay to believe that, and I am like that, I'm not going to change who I am. It is also important that part of loving me, it's also doing what the contract says. And having the strength and the courage to say, I'm sorry, client. I really want to serve you. And the best way for me to serve you is for me to have a document that mirrors the contract that we signed. Because earlier in the negotiation, when we were signing a contract, you were very clear. You went through a process of hiring an attorney to write a contract. that means to me that a contract is important for you. And right now, this contract is the only avenue we have for clarity as to how do we communicate, how do we solve differences. It's you went through a process and I went through the process of signing it. So in order to be truthful to that process and the commitment we had when we signed this agreement, like a marriage, it's like a marriage. A contract in a project, it's like a marriage, because our projects take a long time, and to get rid of them, it ain't easy. So you want to make sure that you're honoring what you sign, the contract you sign, what you promise in that contract. And you promise when you sign the contract, so you don't have to feel bad for saying no. You just have to say, it's not me, it's the contract, it's the contract. I have to honor you, client, Mr. Client, because you are important to me. And I need to honor my company. I need to honor myself and the reason why I'm in business. So the fastest way to solve this is to provide a change order that is in accordance to the contract. So in construction, we learn to manage our emotions better. But I want you to hear me on this one. You don't have to get upset. You don't have to mistreat the other person. You want to remember you're dealing with a human being that is always doing the best they can. And you are doing the best you can. And your job is to protect your company and to protect the process that was identified as the process we are supposed to follow. So, change orders, learn to say no, and learn to say it with grace. I love to say no, but say it with respect. Respecting the human being that is on the other side. Because I want to make sure I'm following also who I said I am to God. And I don't think there's any reason to treat another human bad. We're all humans having an earthly experience. Even in our construction business, we can be professionals, honor ourselves, but be integrous with our words without destroying the human that you have next to you. A friend of mine told me this one time, and it was like an aha moment. And this guy is an attorney. He said to me, you want to be integrous to your words, to your values, to what you believe. What you don't like about the person is not the person itself, it's the behavior. So if you learn to separate the behavior from the human, you are going to have so much a better time. And the other one I can share with you, I studied in La Salle in Dominican Republic. And the director of the school said something to me when I was in high school that I will never forget. He said, everyone, all humans have the capacity to be really, really good and really, really bad. So we choose what part of us do we feed on a daily basis. What's the state that we will show up into our projects so we can have clarity on the decisions that we make, and we can be strategic about what's going to help the process, the client, how do we serve them without destroying who you are and the commitments you made to yourself, to your family, and to the client itself. Because if you go out of business, it doesn't help anyone. So stay true to your purpose, to your mission, and to your goals. You deserve it. Bye now.